It began in the dead of night, under a moon veiled by drifting clouds, when a battalion of 150 soldiers found themselves cut off deep inside hostile terrain. They had been ordered to hold a ridge line until reinforcements arrived. But instead of relief, what came was a storm of fire. Mortar rounds rained down, tracers tore through the darkness, and the radio channels filled with the sounds of men and women trying to stay alive. They were running out of ammunition, and with every passing hour, enemy forces tightened the noose around their position. Subscribe to my channel for more amazing military stories. In the command center miles away, the situation map glowed red. No road convoys could break through. Heavy artillery would risk hitting friendlies, and the only aircraft available for an immediate rescue was a pair of Black Hawks, already stretched to their limits. Among the crews on standby that night was Captain Avery Cole, a pilot known for precision flying, but also for never straying outside the lines of command. She had earned respect for her discipline, but on that night, discipline alone would not bring those soldiers home. The official orders were clear: hold position, do not attempt evacuation until ground reinforcements secure a corridor. But Captain Cole listened to the radio chatter from the ridge, voices cracking, calling out coordinates, describing the wounded who wouldn't last until morning. She looked at her co-pilot. He didn't have to say a word. The weight of silence between them was louder than any order on paper. Avery keyed her mic. "Tower, this is Hawk 2-1. We're going in." The command center fired back instantly. "Negative. That is not authorized. Do not proceed." But Avery had already lifted off. The rotors carved through the darkness, the Black Hawk rising like a defiant shadow against the sky. As they approached the ridge, the scene unfolded in chaos. Flares lit the night in bursts of blinding white. The ridge line was scarred with smoke and fire. Soldiers huddled behind crumbling walls and shattered vehicles, firing back at an enemy they could barely see. When the Black Hawk's silhouette appeared above the horizon, a cheer erupted from the ground. Hope in its rawest form. But hope was fragile. The landing zone was choked with debris. Enemy fire laced the air. No one would blame Avery if she turned away. But she didn't. With steady hands, she threaded the helicopter through a canyon of fire, bringing the Black Hawk down on a strip of ground barely wide enough for her landing gear. "Go! Go! Go!" the crew chief shouted as soldiers rushed the aircraft, half carrying their wounded. The Black Hawk swayed under the sudden weight. Enemy fire intensified, sparks showering across the fuselage. But Avery didn't lift off, not yet. She held position, teeth clenched, waiting for every last soldier in reach to get aboard. The helicopter was beyond capacity. They should have left with 20 on board. Instead, they had nearly 50, bleeding, exhausted, desperate. The strain pushed the engines to the edge. Warning alarms blared. The Black Hawk groaned like it would tear itself apart. "Captain, we're too heavy," her co-pilot shouted. "We'll never clear the ridge." Avery's reply was steady. "Then we make the ridge move for us." With a sudden lurch, she tilted the bird forward, skimming treetops and dirt, using gravity to sling the aircraft into speed. The rotor blades sliced through branches as tracer rounds chased them into the night. The Black Hawk rose, shuddering, fighting physics with every heartbeat, and somehow it held. But the mission was far from over. One lift wasn't enough, not for 150 soldiers. So Avery did what no one else dared. She went back. Trip after trip, she returned to that burning ridge, each time under heavier fire, each time carrying more than the helicopter was built to bear. The ground crew begged her to stop. The command center threatened court-martial. Even her own co-pilot, voice raw with fear, pleaded, "Captain, one more run and we don't come back." But Avery's answer never changed. "They don't come back without us. Strap in." By the fourth run, the Black Hawk was riddled with holes. Hydraulics screamed. Instruments flickered. But every time, Avery coaxed the aircraft to life again, like sheer willpower was enough to keep it flying. On the final lift, the last group of soldiers scrambled aboard. Some clung to the skids, too many to fit inside. The helicopter sagged under the load, barely clearing the ridgeline, and then silence. The enemy guns had stopped, not because the battle was over, but because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. One lone Black Hawk, defying every law of command, of physics, of reason, rising out of the inferno with an entire battalion on its back. Hours later, in the safety of the forward operating base, 150 soldiers stood in formation, dirty, wounded, shaken, but alive. They had been written off as lost, and yet they were here. The wing commander walked out to meet Avery, his face unreadable. For a moment, silence hung between them. Then he saluted, slow, sharp, the kind of salute given only once in a career. The commander spoke quietly, but every soldier heard it. "You broke rank tonight, Captain, but you also broke the impossible, and for that we all stand in your debt." That night, no medal was pinned. No official report could capture what truly happened on that ridge. But the legend spread of one Black Hawk pilot who refused to leave anyone behind, who defied orders, defied odds, and carried 150 souls home when no one else would. Her name etched itself into whispers, into stories, into the unspoken code of soldiers everywhere. Because in war, rules may bind a pilot, but courage is what carries them home.